Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Amber and this is part 2 of my little sort of home library update. If you've not already seen part 1 where I did an unhaul, then I will leave that linked in the description box. But basically this is where I'm going to be talking about quite a lot of the books that I've got recently. I say recently, I've not actually filmed a whole video for almost 2 years. And I think if I talked about every single book that I've got in the last 2 years, we would be here forever. But I thought I'd whiz through at least the ones that I've sort of got this year. I'm going to start with the books that I've already read, so the books that I hold and have since read. A few of these I've already talked about on my channel, so I'm not going to sort of dwell on them for too long. This one especially, I've waffled on about it already countless times. This is The Moustache by Emmanuel Carrere, translated by Lanny Goodman. This is a 5-star read for me. It's a weird literary kind of book about a guy who shaves off his moustache and none of the people in his life notice or seem to acknowledge it. It's a very short one. I got it from Waterstones, I think, because I've been looking for it for ages because I just love the simplicity of this cover, and I bought it with a voucher that I got for my birthday. I read it, I loved it, I'm glad to own it, so that's the first one. Next up is Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro. This is one that I started on my Kindle and I just got a really good feeling about it and I thought I would really love it, so I put it on pause, found it on Vinted and finished the rest of it physically. I was right and this one was a favourite. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 4.5. This one is about a woman who has Parkinson's disease and we're following her for the day as she's asking somebody to help her investigate her daughter's supposed suicide, which she doesn't think was a suicide. So this is just a very heartbreaking, beautifully written book. The writing was just genius, and yeah, I just really like these editions of books. I've seen quite a few of them and I think they're really cool, so yeah, that's another one that I got. I mentioned this one quite recently as well. My best friend gave me A Court of Thorns and Roses in the post, which I was a little bit appalled at because this is not something that I would have sort of willingly bought myself, but she has been insisting that I give it a go. I recently read it and I gave it 4 stars. I had a really good time with it. I will be continuing the series at some point. So this was a very pleasant surprise because I was initially quite hesitant. I was very judgy and I'm glad that I've been proven wrong. So I'm sure that Mac is now thrilled that he's going to have ACOTAR on our shared bookshelves, but yeah, I actually thought it was really fun. Next up is a book that I've been searching for a really long time in bookshops. It's Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. I ended up buying this on Books Please because yeah, I just couldn't find it anywhere and I knew I was going to love this and I did. This is about a kind of mysterious, unidentified woman who goes by the name of Maud, who is violently sexually attacking random men, and it's told in a mix of prose and poetry from the perspectives of these men. It just gives such a nuanced and interesting look into this topic and I was just in love with it. I think it was a 4.5 in the end because some of the poetry didn't resonate with me personally because I'm not really a poetry gal, but this is definitely one that I think I will reread and I just love the pink as well, so very glad to have this one. This is a book that I recently bought on Vinted. I was so excited to see it and I did read this recently. It was the last book that I read and I will talk about it in an upcoming video, so I won't kind of reveal everything now, but I was actually very disappointed with this. This was like a strong 5-star prediction. Everyone that I've seen read this has absolutely loved it and I was just so like frustrated with it. I will go into my full thoughts in my next wrap up video, but yeah, this is technically a haul, but I can't see myself holding on to this very long because although I really love the cover and it's one of those beautiful American books which is dead floppy, the actual book itself was really disappointing. So yeah, I may end up getting rid of this in the next few months. Next up was, I think, a charity shop find. This is The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels by Janice Hallett. I always wait to buy her books from charity shops because I always seem to find them there. I think every single one of her books I found in charity shops. I recently read this and spoiler alert, I absolutely loved it. Again, I will talk about it more in a future video, but this was just excellent. She's just a genius when it comes to mysteries and I'm just hooked every time. She's like the queen of a mixed media complicated mystery story. So I'm very glad to have this and I can put it next to The Appeal in their joint glory together. And then next up in this stack is The 3-Body Problem. I want to say a trilogy, but it's not a trilogy, is it? Because we've got 4 books here. Is it a quartet or is it a trilogy with like an extra bit in here? I don't really know. I feel like The Wandering Earth might be a short story collection that is based in the same universe, so I think these 3 are technically the trilogy, maybe. Basically I read The 3-Body Problem earlier this year absolutely loved it. And yeah, I just really wanted to buy the whole series, so I was doing some searching again on Vinted and I found the whole set for £20, so I thought it was really good, and they're basically like brand new. So now I've got this one which I have read and is on my like red shelves, and then I have these 3 beautiful books on my physical TBR which live downstairs. So yeah, I definitely want to read at least a second book soon so that I'm not leaving too big of a gap. But I'm very happy to have this because yeah, I just was so in love with it. It was like the cleverest book that I've ever read. Next up, I will just whiz through some of the books that I've bought and haven't read yet. So these are all on my TBR still. First up here, we've got White Nights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is one that I've seen recommended a few places, but was it originally like a TikTok recommendation? I don't know. I've never seen this recommended on TikTok, but I think every video that I've watched on YouTube of people talking about it has mentioned TikTok. This was in Waterstones for £3. It is a teeny tiny little book. I think it's a romance and I just want to read it, so I picked it up. I think Mac wants to read it too, so I couldn't say no. Next up, oh, let's take the sticker off while we're here. This is Falling by TJ Newman. Now, I love me an airplane thriller, and this author has 2 of them now. So she's got this one and also one called Drowning. I want to read them both. I love like a fast-paced, suspenseful airplane thriller. So these kinds of books for me are just very good like palette cleansers, something to pick up when I just want something like quick and scary. This is another one that I found in an Oxfam bookshop, and I think I squealed when I saw it because I never thought I would see this kind of book in a charity shop. This is Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt. This has been on my TBR for a while. I think I removed it because I think as the years have gone on, I am a little bit more sensitive to trigger things in books now, and I've heard that this is kind of jam-packed with it. So I think I took it off my TBR, and then I saw it in a charity shop and I saw it as a bit of a sign that maybe I should read it. Little did I know that this was actually £5, which is quite a lot I think for a charity shop, but I do find that the Oxfam bookshops tend to be a little bit more pricey, and I suppose it is going to a good cause. So yeah, I'm glad to have found it. I'm glad to have it. Next up, I think I really lucked out with this because me and Mac went into Waterstones quite recently and he had a voucher that he was going to use to buy some of his uni books. He didn't end up finding any books that he needed, so instead he bought me some books, which I feel really mean saying that now. To be fair, one of them is one that we both want to read and it was on buy one get one half price, so then I picked one that I wanted. But yeah, I definitely do owe him some books. The first one is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This is one, I don't remember where I first heard about it, but we both added it to our TBR at some point, and then it won the Booker Prize 2024, so now I'm even more excited to read it. I was put off buying it because it is the smallest book in the world. It was a full like £8.99 in Waterstones, and no, it's £10. This tiny little book is a tenner. How many pages is it? Like, it can't even be 100. Oh, 135 pages. But yeah, it's teeny tiny, and I've walked past it quite a few times, but it was on the buy one get one half price table, and it won the Booker Prize, so we picked it up. And then to go with that one, I got Carla by Colin Walsh. This is one that I heard Amelia talk about on YouTube, but this is an Irish mystery set in 2003, and it's following a group of friends after one of them goes missing, I think. And I'm just excited for the nostalgic vibes. Everyone loves a bit of Irish fiction, and I love a literary mystery, so yeah, I'm very happy to have this one. Next up, we have one that I'm so excited about. This is like a highly anticipated book. This is Escape and Control by Steve Hollyman. This is another one that I found on Vinted. I remember hearing about this on TikTok. I don't know a ton about the book, but she described it as quite meta, and then was saying how afterwards she found like a website that made it even more like clever and complicated, and that just completely drew me in. There's lots of different fonts in this book which suggests to me that it's kind of mixed media or something like that, but the pink just won me over, and I think this is such a lovely book cover and I'm really excited to read this. Next up is one that I didn't really have much interest in reading, but I saw it in, again, a charity shop, and I couldn't walk away from it. This is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Look at this book. Oh my gosh, just the look of it being filthy. I remember showing it to Mac and being like, is this book genuinely dirty or am I just being thick? But yeah, it is the point that it's meant to look a little bit grubby. I'm pretty sure this is just, as the title suggests, 2 girls, one of them needs an exorcism. It's set in the 80s, it's meant to be quite nostalgic. I really should have read this Halloween, but I didn't, so I'll have to save it for next time now. Sorry, I'm just taking the sticker off while I'm here. So I managed to get this one for £1.50, which I think is a very, very good deal. Next up, we have 2 romance books, because last year I read Happy Place by Emily Henry and I really love that book. I don't think I've really read much romance since then or before then, so I did pick up Book Lovers by Emily Henry, again from a charity shop. This one was 99p, so amazing. This one is about a literary agent and an editor, and I think it's an enemies to lovers, so that will be fun. I don't know when I'm going to read it because I read my last Emily Henry while I was on holiday and I thought that just was perfect. I don't actually have any holidays planned, so it might be a while before I kind of get to this, but hopefully I will love it just as much as I liked Happy Place. I know that this one in particular is quite a lot of people's favourite Emily Henry, so yeah, excited to get to this one. I feel like that was the most disingenuous excitement ever. I genuinely am excited to read this one at some point. And then the other one is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is a recommendation from my friend because I was saying that I hate cringy romance and she recommended this one. I saw this one in the works, I think, and I just really like the pink and green, so yeah. This will probably be my next romance read because I've had this one a little bit longer than Book Lovers. This is the same friend that told me to read ACOTAR and I really enjoyed it, so I really should trust her opinion more. Next up we have The Last Dance, which my friend also bought me for my birthday. This is one that I recently added to my TBR because my dad read it and really enjoyed it. This is I think a police procedural book, which I do love every so often, that's set in Blackpool. So I don't really know much more than that, but my dad liked it and my dad always reads really good books. So the next time I'm in the mood for a police procedural, this will definitely be the first one that I pick up. The next one is one that I've had my eye on for a while and I managed to get it in Waterstones with a birthday voucher. This is Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. Beautiful book cover. Beautiful book cover. This is about 3 girlfriends who basically travel to this weird mysterious place. It's a very hot summer. I think a boyfriend's gone missing and they're trying to get him back. I don't know, but I've heard that it's very dreamy, creepy, eerie. It looks very like midsummer vibes. I'm probably going to wait till it's a bit warmer before I read this. It feels like a spring summer book, but yeah, I'm very, very happy to have it because look at it, it's stunning. This next one is my most recent charity shop find. This was an Oxfam bookshop one as well, and this one was actually cheaper than Tell Me I'm Worthless, which I was surprised at because this is a hardcover and I was expecting them to charge me a bomb for it, but I think it was like £2.49 or something. This is I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. I've heard mixed things about this, so I'm not sure what I'm going to think of it. I've forgotten what this one's about, so I will just read some of the back. So we're following a successful film professor and podcaster who is content to forget her past, the family tragedy that marred her adolescence, her 4 largely miserable years at a New Hampshire boarding school, and the murder of her former roommate. The circumstances surrounding her death and the conviction of the school's athletic trainer are hotly debated online, but when the school invites her back to teach a course, she's drawn back into the case and its increasingly apparent flaws. So this sounds very fun. It sounds very dark academia, autumnal vibes, so I'm probably going to hold off until autumn to read this, but yeah, sounds good. And then the last one that I have not read yet is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. I've had this one for quite a while now, I just keep putting it off. I did buy this one for full price in a little independent bookshop in Lytham, so it was £17, which is quite a lot for me to spend on a book, but I've heard such good things about this one. It's basically looking into the serial killer case in America, but it's following from the perspectives of some of the women involved. Massively reminds me of Notes on an Execution, which is one of my favourite books. I've heard like literally nothing bad about this, so I have ridiculously high hopes, which makes this book kind of intimidating, but I'm sure I'll love it when I finally do get around to it. And then my last little stack of books. This is like the happiest that I've been this month was finding these books. We'll start with the 2 like least exciting ones first. The first one that I have is Indelible by Karen Slaughter. So if you've watched my channel before, you may know that I'm obsessed with the Grant County series. I read it whilst I was interrailing and it was just like the best experience of my life. I was like 19 years old reading this series on my Kindle whilst I was traveling Europe. It was heavenly. I was obsessed, I sobbed, everything was 5-star, and I've always wanted little copies of the books because I can see myself reading this again one day. But every time I find a book that is what I think is part of the series, it's always a Will Trent book, and that annoys me every single time because they have like the same cover, they have the same style of cover, and one of the characters in the Grant County series books is also in the Will Trent books, so her name crops up all the time and I'm like, oh, Grant County, and then it never is. I can't work out which number this is in the series, but I'm just hoping that I will find every one of them the more I look. But yeah, this is the first one that I found and I look for them every single time. One thing about this is that it is really small. It's like a mass market paperback books, which are kind of annoying because they're really like short in comparison to normal books. But yeah, I think this is the best I'm going to get with these covers. Then I found Out There by Kate Fogg, and I remember saying in a video not so long ago that I really wanted this book because I loved the purple and pink edition. I really want to buy this one physically because the pink and purple in the cover, I just love it. And then the next time I went out looking for books, I found this, which isn't exactly the one that I wanted, but I could not say no because this is also a beautiful book. But Mac did say that this really annoys him because this is written one way and this is written the other way, which fits the book. It totally fits the book, but yeah, he said it's just really like annoying for him to look at. Oh yeah, like even this is upside down as well. But it completely makes sense of the book. So I just thought that was really weird that I mentioned like really wanting this and then I found it. And again, it's not the kind of book that I would expect to just find in my local charity shop, so I was super happy with this. And then the last two books, oh my god, right, this is where I went a little bit crazy on Vinted, and I just keep looking for books that I've already read, that I love, that I want to have. Some people might think that's a little bit stupid, but I do keep a list on my Goodreads of books that I read, say on my Kindle or from my library or something, that I just want to have physical copies of for whatever reason, mainly because I want to reread them one day and I would love to have shelves full of all my favourite books. The first one that I found, I've banged on about so much this year and I'm going to be talking about it in my like favourites video, is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen Peck. Oh my god, I love this. It's huge as well. It's like bigger than my face. It's a strange violin edition and it's American, so it's floppy. I'm just in love. Can't wait to read this book again. It's literally one of my favourites I've ever read. It's my favourite book of this year, probably so far, and I'm so glad to have it because I always do this where I say I'm going to buy a book and then it's sat on this list for years and I just thought, no, you know what? You want this, you love it, buy it. And I think I got it for like a couple of quid on Vinted. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to have this. And then the last one, oh my god, I can't even like, I think I did scream when I saw this. So I have been looking for this book for a long time. Every few months I'll put it in Google, eBay, whatever, and it's always like over £20. And I'm sorry, I'm not paying £20 for a book that I've already read. I'm a tight ass and I can't justify it. So imagine my excitement when I saw this. Oh my god. We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III, one of my favourite books. Oh my god, like the perfect horror novella, amazing book, scared the shit out of me. I will force this down anyone's throat, and this is the book that I wanted. This is the edition that I wanted. I think I talked about it in a recent video where I was like, I really want this specific edition. I keep trying to find a physical copy of it online, but I really want this specific cover and I can't find it anywhere. And then I put it on Vinted one day just out of curiosity and someone was selling it and I screamed, I immediately bought it. The thrill that I got from finding these secondhand books that are just like my ultimate favourites, and I found them within like a week of each other, and to be fair, my reaction is justifying to me why I bother like buying things that I've already read, because it makes me so happy. So yeah, that is everything. I think it's probably not everything that I've bought in the last 2 years, but it's probably most of the books that I bought this year at least. So I'm now going to go and put a lot of these books back in this bookshelf because I've made so many gaps and it's upsetting me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget that if you want to see the unhaul that I did, I will also link that in the description. Let me know if you enjoyed it by giving it a like or leaving me a comment. I'm planning on posting quite a bit of end of year content this year, so if you want to stick around and see that, then please do subscribe and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!